All right, artists, as I discussed in the last video, something's going to happen to the paper. Now, my tissue paper appears to be dry, and it's starting to lift off of the watercolor paper. So same tweezers. You don't need tweezers to do this. I find it kind of fun. I'm just going to remove them one at a time. And as you do, you're going to notice there's actually some more negative space that you didn't realize. Oh, that one doesn't have any negative space. You're going to see some variance in what you expected based on how the paper was drying. Well, these are all pretty solid. That's great. I like how the two colors start to melt together. There's a real softness to that blend. That would be pretty difficult if you were trying to do it. There we go. Got some hidden negative space. Oh, there's a huge triangle. This is the sort of thing that I'm absolutely looking for when I do this assignment. Looking for the random beauty that emerges. And as I mentioned before, there still is pigment in these pieces of paper. So if you wanted to, you could put them in a bag, try to reuse them. The next time around, the pigment's going to be a little bit lighter, so you'll have a softer image. When the concentration of pigment isn't as vibrant and bright, we call it soft. Awesome. Very cool. So now I've got this removed. You will notice that your watercolor paper is a little lumpy. If you want to, now would be a good time to press this under a book or heavy object to flatten out that paper. Now, keep in mind with this pigment, if this were to get wet, that color would actually bleed further in all directions. But let's see if I can zoom in without my camera breaking. All right, now I'm going to hold this direction. The next step would be to go through with either a fine point Sharpie, or I'm a big fan of these medium point Papermate Flair pens. Just something that has a pretty accurate tip. I like to use black, but you could use any dark color. And the next step is actually the most time consuming, but kind of the most fun. So you're going to pick a spot and you are going to outline the perimeter of all of these shapes. And what should happen, you should start to see the pop occur between the white of the paper and the image. And some of these little faint pieces of color, I'm even going to outline those. They're going to look like tiny islands of pigment. All right. So this will take a little while, but it's kind of satisfying. Let me zoom out. All right. I am going to continue to outline, but I'm going to pause the video and I'll bring it back to show you what I have created. All right, 2 pens later, because my Flair pen ran out of ink, I had to switch over to this Precision V5. But as you can see, I've gone through and I've outlined all of these teeny tiny shapes and the larger shapes. And again, I'm getting the perimeter. Let me change my light. Maybe I can make this a little bit more noticeable. Even the tiniest pieces, I was getting an outline for. Now, this is the second step. Prior to posting on our photo, I'm going to decide which is my top and bottom. I'm going to decide which way I want to display this. I think it's going to be like this. And I'm going to flatten this overnight. And the next stage will be pretty easy. We'll be adhering a photo to this to complete our self-portrait. All right, thanks for watching, and I hope to see your products in Google Classroom. All right, artists, have a great evening.